Much. So my name is Carlos Oba, the CEO of Dot4 Inc. So we are enabling the village people to access to the financial services and opportunities in Africa through our technology. So I'm living in Benin with my family. I'm Japanese. My wife is also Japanese. So all my family live in Benin, and all my colleagues and the customers are in Benin and Senegal. And we are starting from Benin to all over Africa to change the situation of rural villagers. What happened in Africa as a problem is the telecom companies or infrastructure company has a profitability problem in such low-income rural area, and they are not invest in such areas and no infrastructure installed. On the other hand, the village people have a few access to the information and opportunity that leaves them still low income. That means for telecom company and infra company, less incentive to incentivize because of low income. Such negative loop happen in rural Africa. So we are going to cut that negative loop by providing the income increasing ecosystem in African villages. First, we install Wi-Fi and edge server in each village, and people can purchase the smartphone as an accessible device to our service as an instrument purchase. And we provide on it the digital services that could increase their income, such as training videos, marketplace to purchase the materials, and to sell the products which they produce, and also they could promote and send through our platform. Okay, and there's some of the good successful cases through us, like Jax in the left photo, who is a young painter in the village, whose techniques and knowledge about the painting doesn't change from their young start their painting business because less accessible to their new information, no updates, but they learn the new techniques of painting and purchase the tools to realize what they learned, and also they could promote what they learned to not only his village, but also the surrounded villages and acquire the new customers. Then his income increased by 80%. That thing already happened with Dot4 in Benin and Senegal. And in addition, we use the data. We could collect the data through our Wi-Fi infrastructure, through our smartphone we sell, and through the access data the people use our service. So we use the data to calculate the dynamic credit score of individual villagers so that they could purchase the item on our marketplace as an instrument of purchase. In addition, we have a partnership with some of the makers, suppliers who want to access to such a emerging market with less risks through our dynamic credit scores and marketplace. They could purchase starting from smartphone, solar home systems, tools related to their jobs, like painting tools, as I mentioned for Jax, or agriculture equipment, the fishing nets, motorbikes, and so on. And we get a commission from that. The most important, interesting advantage of us is the cost. So our initial cost is the way too small than the other competitors like a telecom company who need to invest millions of dollars to build the telecom towers or Starlink, like a satellite. Our initial cost is around 800 USD per village, including the power supply, solar panel, and batteries, which is way less. This size of box, we just put in 1 or 2 houses in a village, and this box emits the Wi-Fi in the village to cover the people. And everyone start using our service in 1 day, on the day we arrive with the box. So that's our advantages. And actually, we have already active in Benin and Senegal, and the collection ratio of the instrument sales is around 90%. That is extremely high in such low-income rural areas. And who purchased the smartphone, like the lady in the photo, who purchased after the smartphone, who purchased the machine to produce a coconut oil to sell that product. She also succeeded to increase her income and family income. Okay, and as I mentioned, we have operated in Benin, and still small area, tiny area even in Benin. As you see, Africa is so huge, but we have already has more than 40,000 registration and more than 1,600 paid users in such small areas. And this model has been verified in Senegal as well. So we are going to expand all over sub-Saharan African countries with this model. And our monthly revenue is already 20,000 USD per month, but the potential is exponential. We could expand this model with all over Africa and change our lives. So we are in the phase one, the increase the individual income. But since we are like a last 1 mile telecom solution, so we could also connect not only in the village, but also cities, capitals, and even outside of cities or outside of country, like US, Japan, Europe, to get the job from such bigger economies. I want to put such small economy, the small village as a small economy into a bigger economy like the developed countries, and make the village people keep living in the villages where they born and grow with their family. So that would happen by 2030. We are going to realize that would happen in African villages. Through our platform, a lot of the companies are interested in to touch point with the village people in Africa. Especially, we have already had a partnership with big Japanese companies, like SoftBank is one of the biggest telecom companies in Japan, with whom we are going to have a rural Africa telecommunication business. And also Shochik is one of the biggest movie maker and distributor of Japan. We distribute Japanese content in rural Africa with local language. And we also sell the Honda motorbike in Benin. And also we preparing with many makers, suppliers like printing makers, sewing machines, smartphones, and power bank, and so on, that contribute to the development of the people living in the African villages. So we are .4. We are changing the lives of the people by the power of the technologies. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Carlos, for that amazing presentation. So now we welcome a question from the judges. So again, if any one of you, the panel judges, have any question, please turn on your camera and start with the question. Yes, Annabelle, yes, go on. Yes, okay.
Annabelle, you're
please unmute yourself.
Sorry, I've got many questions as usual, but if the two other judges wants to go ahead before.
Okay, let me see.
Sure, I'll take the question.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
If I understood correctly, your service, well, first of all, thank you for this presentation, it was very good. And so if we understood correctly, your service is based on Wi-Fi, right? So you are using these boxes to provide Wi-Fi in different areas. So what is, if you have a business continuity plan when this services fail? We have seen that there's different factors that affect the use of Wi-Fi. So if there's, I don't know, a solar storm or any type of interruption for the service, what would be a plan for you to continue giving the service?
Yes, our first question, yes, our service is the Wi-Fi, but the point is our service doesn't connect to the internet directly. We download the request or packets on the USB memory and bring physically by motorbike to the town or cities and upload in the internet. Download from the internet in the town, bring back the USB memory by motorbike to the village and upload in the server. So it's like a snail mail, digital version of snail mail, but they could interconnect each other. So that make our service or initial investment installment very cheaper than the real-time connection, but that's enough for them. So then next question may be like Starlink may change our situation. That is we may be able to say threat, but on the other hand, we think it's an opportunity for us. We are a service company, not an infrastructure company. If the connection works well with Starlink, I'm happy to connect with Starlink so that people have more access to their opportunities. But people use our service because through our service, they could increase their income. So no matter which server, which place the server is in this box or on the online, people can use it. And we have a data, if no matter which server are or whichever connector or not. So this is can be threat, but it's not be a threat. It's gonna be an opportunity for us. Did I answer your question?
Yes, it's okay. Thank you. And just to
Thank
finish, you said you use data algorithms to, provide the service. And what are your safeguards for data? We have seen that different providers of services have used data improperly. So what are your safeguards for the data that you use?
Yes, first, our data is secured. We could say secure because it's not connected to offline. So as long as people store and properly access to our server in that box, our data never stolen. And we secure the data in the server according based on our AWS and so on. The accessibility would be secured by such services.
All right, thank you.
Okay, so
Thank
can
you
we have
for
one more question?
yeah. Thank you for
I have a
Okay.
quick.
okay.
Yes.
You go. Yeah, thank you for a very wonderful presentation. My question has to do with resilience and continuous availability of service. Looking at the traveling that you have to make to send a packet to activate a system and make sure that the service is regularly available. What are some of the risks that you foresee in this arrangement, and what are the measures that you have put in place to mitigate those risks?
So risks would be like security in the village, and we hire the agent in each village so that the agent could manage our system and the collaboration together with us. So agent taking care of the customers, taking care of such a data corrections and data updates, and he or she get their commission through us. Such kind of partnership with our agent in each village makes us more secure to such terminals.
What about the transportation, moving up and down, the risks, accidents, the rough roads, and maybe what do you foresee?
Yes, even the accident happens, our data is cryptized and in a small USB. Our next batch would go back and forth. So even the lost accident, the delivery doesn't reach to on that day, we could send our next USB batch to on the same day or next day to the village. So we every day we go back and forth and updates, downloads every day. There are such kind of accidents during the transportation that matter for us.
That's fine. Thank you.
All right, thank you
Thank you.
so much, Clarence, for that questions. Perhaps if Annabelle, if you have one last question before we
Yes,
proceed with
yes.
our last presenter.
Yes,
Yes. I have a
yes,
question.
I would like to know what's the story behind that. Because you're Japanese, you ended up in Benin, and you are actually putting on place an alternative for people who cannot access Wi-Fi to work in place. What's your story behind?
Yes, I am traveler. Still, I'm 45, but still keep traveling with my family. And when I was in Cuba 10 years ago, I saw people try to access to the internet by paying $4 for 30 minutes access, even though their monthly income is $12. So I found they want to connect no matter how much they pay. So, and 10 years after, I met some of the villagers who looks happy, but they are suffering from such a negative loop they are not be able to solve by themselves. So, I want to keep traveling as my lifetime mission, and I also want to change their lives by betting my life or my family's lives on it, and that make for example, my parents proud of me, who have died 20 years ago, but who must be proud of me if I leave something in the world as the son of their parents. So that's kind of personal story. I started this business in Benin and Africa.
Thank you. Thank you. That's what we call financial inclusion. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Just a tiny quick question. As we said, we are quite worried about the risk, obviously, that such business is placed on. It's very honorable, but if, for example, at the government level, they see, or at the telecom level, they see how successful you managed to put people onto the Wi-Fi and making business. If they decide to go towards you and said, okay, now we're going to establish something much more permanent, what is your business model? Your business model will still be running because you're running on data? Is that this is where you generate your money from?
Yes, exactly. As long as we provide a good service, no matter like if infrastructure done by telecom companies, Starlink, government, people use us. And I want to provide a good service for them to use, even they pay from their small amount of their income. So the incentive coming from the consumer side and coming from company side. So both incentive must be merged in the service. That's the service we have to build for our target customer village people. So if we realize it, no matter happen, I don't care about there's such a threat or someone come into the market.
Okay. Thank you so much.
All
Thank
right.
you for the great presentation. Thank you.
Thank
you
you
very
so
much.
much, Annabelle and Carlos.